Holidays are a prime time for kids to unwrap their first smartphone or tablet, but what should be a special moment of joy often quickly turns into what experts call tech tension. I recently talked with digital expert Kristin Lewis about how to ease the stress. Good morning, Kristin. How are you doing this morning?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad you're here because it's that time of year where we are looking at the holiday seasons. We're looking at, of course, gifting technology to the kids. But let's talk about, of course, how to make a safe and fun tech holiday for families.
For sure. I mean, anytime kids get their first phone, tablet, gaming device, it's like this huge milestone and there's so much excitement. But there's this emotional layer for parents too, right? They want their kid to feel independent and excited, but they also want them to be very safe and balanced and responsible. And that mix of like, how do both happen at the same time is what creates this tension. And it's wild, but somewhere between a third and a half of parents with kids under 18 are gifting electronics to their kids over the holidays. So this tension is felt by so many families as we kind of proceed through December.
Yeah, let's talk about things that parents need to do before they hand over these new devices, especially devices aren't like how when we were growing up.
Right. They're not the same, right? I'm trying to think of a device that I might have been given when I was a child, and I can't actually think of one. So, so much varies by age, but no matter what age your child is and what device you're giving them, no matter how tech savvy they are, take the moment to step back and set up the device together, set some ground rules and early expectations. Those may vary by household, but involving the kids in sort of understanding what the rules are and making sure that they understand that this is a big gift and technology is something that we need to use thoughtfully. That can be sort of a big trust building moment so that it doesn't seem like a bait and switch, the next day when you're like, oh, did I forget to mention you can only have that thing on for 2 hours a day?
I know you said something right there, and that is the family sitting down and setting up together. So what are some of the guardrails that, families need to look at when setting up these devices?
Yeah. Keeping it simple, and these things might vary by family, but here's a few that I really love. No screens at dinner. That's a rule that can apply to both parents and kids. It can be something that you can really model as a behavior they need to share as well. Figuring out, what time at night do you want those devices to be off to promote healthy sleep? And for so many parents with teens, making sure they understand that phones might be charged outside of the bedroom and will not be spending the night with them in their bedroom. Having those rules established up front as just kind of things that aren't debated can really help eliminate like ongoing conflict and constantly kind of renegotiating those baseline rules.
Yeah, you gave some ideas there. What about, of course, like the digital balancing with the kids? I mean, I know you mentioned about turning them off at night, not in the room, but I mean, we got to think about the digital part too.
For sure. And we talk to so many parents who, they really want their kid to be like building healthy habits, staying safe online, of course. They want to be alerted if something's wrong. And they don't know how to do that without taking their kid's device and reading every message or scrolling through everything the child's doing. And that, no parent really wants to do that. They don't even really know what they're looking for. And it can really evade trust from the child, right? And it can build a lot of more tension in the household. So Aura Parents and the digital balance tools that we provide, we really focus on giving parents the insights they need to understand, is screen time spiking? Is there any unhealthy app usage? Is there anything going on at night? Is there any new messaging or social interactions that I need to be concerned about? With, finding a healthy balance between you don't need to read every message, you don't need to look at every single website they visited, but we'll give you the insight that you need to have productive conversations and really make sure that that device is helping and not hurting.
I like that. That's very smart. Okay, any other simple habits you recommend?
If there's a way that you can find to have some fun with your kid in this device, we highly recommend it. Just eliminating some of the tension by asking if they can teach you how to use their favorite app or to show you sort of what they've been having the most fun with that week. Just being okay with them actually having some time on that device that is recreational and eliminating the stigma where you can, that can really help kind of foster that trust and make sure that your kids see you as a resource that they can come to with questions and not, something that they always have to hide from you.
Yeah, and we could pretty much ask them what the 6-7 thing means, and we can have some fun with them.
Right? Oh my gosh, with a 9 and a 6-year-old, I hear that more than I would like.
I love this. Kristin, where can we find more information about keeping the family safe and working together when it comes to these new tech devices for the holiday?
We have a ton of great resources available, and parents and kids can use Aura for just $5 a month. You can check everything that we have out at aura.com/holiday.
Perfect. Kristin, thanks for joining us this morning, and happy holidays to you.
Thank you. You too.
The preceding portion of the Arizona Daily Mix was sponsored on behalf of Aura by A1 Broadcast.